Good morning, everybody. Orin J here with another War of the Visions video, and today I'm going to do a fun video that I like to do a few times during the year, where I look at every element in War of the Visions and I talk about whether I think it's one of the stronger elements in the game, one of the weaker elements in the game, just give you my take on where I think these elements stack up against each other. If you're a brand new player, this could be something useful to you to see which element you might want to invest in over another. If you're a returning player and you just want to see what I have to say so you can get angry at me in the comments section, I'm here for that. I'm here for that too. I just like to do this video a lot, so let's do it. And I'm going to spice it up a bit today by mentioning a couple things. One, I think WoTV is in a pretty good space in terms of balance. You can play any of these elements at a competitive high level. It's just a lot easier with some of them than it is with others. Fire, for example, is a harder element to play than dark. You just need exactly the right fire to fight exactly the thing you're building against, whereas with dark, you can be more broad strokes and win against lots of things. I'll talk about all that more as we go. Also, I'm going to be renaming the tiers as I go down this list, just to spice it up a little bit and have some more fun. Let's start at the bottom with the D tier, and I'm going to rename this the Help is on the Way tier. So, help is on the way. What's coming? Well, I'm going to start with fire. I just mentioned that it's one of the harder elements to play in the game, but it's about to get a lot of love. Next week in Global, we are getting a very important vision card for this element with 15 agility. An elemental vision card with 15 agility is a staple among all the elements. Fire is getting theirs. That's a big deal. We also have Yuffie coming and Roy Mustang coming fairly soon for us. Yuffie will bring in a fire evade option that at least gives fire something to do besides run King Mont, run some DPS, and go beat ice. At least now you'll be able to play evade. We'll see if it's good in Global or not, so I'm withholding my judgment on whether. I can't guarantee you it's going to move up the list, but I can tell you that more fire stuff that's good is on the way pretty soon. I'm also going to put into this tier Rainbow. Now, notice that I have Rainbow in the lowest section right here, and I do still think that Rainbow teams are not as good as mono element teams. However, you've already seen the help that's on the way for Rainbow. Vision cards are starting to be weapon based. Not all of them. We are still mixing in some mono element vision cards. However, as we get more and more of these job-based vision cards, and once they start overlapping and you can build strong Rainbow teams where you are getting these powerful vision card buffs, Rainbow is I predict anyway that Rainbow is going to start creeping up this tier list. We're not there yet. We don't have enough of the new vision cards. We'll have to just wait and see. But I think Rainbow is in a much better space now than it has been in a long time, especially with units like Velis that are just good across all teams. And with these new vision cards coming out, Rainbow's looking promising. Also, Slime. If you build a Slime cost limited team that it's 2 elements in Slime, is that really a Rainbow team? Or is it a mono element team with a 20 cost Slime? That's up to you to decide. We're picking. Anyway, Rainbow's on the rise. Okay, the C tier. I'm going to name this the Currently Better Than Fire tier, but not necessarily by much. In this tier, I'm going to put Water and I'm going to put Earth. I'm going to put Earth as higher ranked than Water, and let's start by talking about Water. Okay, here's the Water's deal. Do you have Astrius? If you have Astrius, you can make a pretty dang good Water PvP team. Do you not have Astrius? Well, if you have Celis, you could go fight pure mages and do pretty well, but there's a big fall off after that. Water does have good vision cards and Esper options. It's a good PvE chaining element, I think, too, but Astrius by himself, I think, elevates Water above Fire. If you were comparing them head to head, Water would also beat Fire, so it has that going for it. But you really, I think, need Astrius to play Water. I'm looking forward to a day when Water gets a little bit more going for it than Celis, Astrius, Velis, or some kind of Astrius Velis combo like that. So that's my thoughts on Water. For Earth, I think Earth is like what Dark is, but not as good as Dark. Earth is a bunch of really high damage bruiser units. They do not have a great true tank. I know Moraga just got that upgrade, but he's not on that level of like the better tanks in the game in my opinion. It also lacks for like a great true support. I think you have great units in there, like Queen Ma Cherie is a really good unit. Oberon is a really good unit. Once Noctis gets his master ability 2 in 140, he will probably become again a really good unit. I think Earth is actually pretty strong, but I don't think it's as strong as any of the other elements. Remember, you can play anything on this list. I can beat any of these other elements with Earth, but I really have to build well and really have to get my buffs to line up well. And so that's Earth. That's what I have to think about Earth. I'm going to put it in the currently better than fire tier. I have Earth higher than water, higher than fire, and higher than rainbow. Okay, the next tier, the B tier, we're going to name this the would be higher, but ice is OP tier. Okay, in this tier, I'm going to put lightning and I'm going to put wind. Now, lightning would be in this tier regardless if ice was OP or not, but I think lightning is really good. Lightning has phenomenal damage dealers in it, whether it's lightning, cloud, heck, Orlando's pretty good. All of the lightning mages are pretty good. I mean, you have Skahal, who is like, after Skahal gets all of his updates, is like top tier unit. Lightning, like who knows, maybe someday lightning even scoots up higher on this list, but lightning's damage dealers are super strong. Lightning has a great selection in my opinion of vision cards and espers. It's not too hard to put a team together. You also have Resnick and Charlotte, so you have a good tank and a good support. That good tank and good support might get slightly outshone by some of the other tanks and supports in the game, but not by much. They're both very good units, so you can really do almost anything you want with lightning. That's why I think it's better than like earth, water, and fire. Wind is, you want to talk about top tier damage dealing units in the game. Wind has them. Flagbearer Glassy is nuts good. Sottily is super good. Then after that, you have units like Summer Jaden, Marymore, Winter Luartha. You have great damage dealing units in Wind. You also have Joom, who's one of the best tanks in the game. You have Halloween Little Leela, who is not only a good support, but she's also a low cost unit and does big AoE damage to back all that up. Wind is my personal favorite element in the game. I have nothing but good things to say about Wind. Let me just make that very clear. I think Wind is insanely good. I have nothing but good things to say about it. However, let's see. We're just going to name this tier the best, and then I'm going to put quotes, element. The reason I cannot level up Wind is because the best element is ice. Now, when I say element, I don't mean the shade or sunshine. I don't mean light or dark. I mean elements, and the best element in the game right now is ice in my opinion. We could start with Velis, who might just be one of the most impactful units in War of the Visions. He is a support who is good in rainbow teams, he's good in ice teams, he's good in PvE teams, he's good in like literally every part of this game. He's nuts. AoE haste is crazy, his heals are big, and he can do a lot of damage if he's allowed to do that. So that guy elevates the element almost by itself. You also have the ice missile units, which dominate so many of these longer range maps that we're in right now. Notice that there has just been a lot of maps where if you could just sit back there with Elia and Eliza and just like drop bombs, you can beat fire teams with a properly built ice team. That is hard to justify, right? I think ice is a little bit over-tuned maybe, and I think fire is a little bit under-tuned, hence the discrepancy on this list. Can fire beat ice? Sure, but you kind of got to build this like 100% ice resist King Mont kind of thing to do it reliably. You can't rely on just missile resist. They can penetrate that. You can't rely on just ice resist even. Somebody like Elia can knock that down. I'm sorry, Eliza can knock that down. They can remove courage and re-raise as good as anybody. They have Agrius and Snow, two great tanks. Like, both of those tanks are really good, especially in PvP. They're really hard to mitigate because Snow is a striking damage. Their best DPS units are missile damage. You have low-cost units like Victora who can really hold their own. All of their slash chaining units are out there. Barret exists, and he's gonna get buffed. Like, there's so much good stuff in Ice. I think it is the best true element in the game, probably a little bit too strong. And then the S tier. I'm gonna rename this Gumi's Favorite Children. I'm gonna name them this, and I'm gonna put them up here. I'm gonna put Light, and I'm gonna put Dark slightly ahead of it. Gumi's Favorite Children. Why do I call them that? Because it seems like every year or every so many months, both of these elements just continue to get really good stuff. Like, I don't feel like there's been a time for a while in this game when you could not reliably play Dark or Light. If you're building a Guild Wars wall for defense, you probably are safe building Dark or Light. Yes, there are ice walls out there, but guess what you see at the highest levels? Dark and Light, because even though they both do more damage to each other, they do not have that like true weakness like Wind has against Ice. Like, Wind takes and receives or deals less damage to Ice and takes more. That's not how Light and Dark work. Yes, they are opposing elements, but they just deal more damage to each other, right? So like, it's fine. It makes those matchups a little volatile, but it's not like a true weakness like the other elements are. These are safe bets. If you're a new player and you want to invest in an element, Light or Dark are safe. Light used to be the king of this game with Light Evade. It is much harder to play. Let me rephrase that. It is not harder to play Light Evade, it's just easier to build anti-evade now. Alexandrite Ring +6, for example, did a lot to bring Light Evade down. It's still really hard to deal with. And if we, like, I know if my guild, if we run into a surprise Light Evade wall every once in a while, we might not have built enough accuracy to deal with it. And so we might get run over in that fight. Now, Dark, what does not Dark have? I don't know, a true tank, I guess. Let's say a true tank. Dwayne ain't that. So they have Whisper, and like, Whisper's better than she used to be, but not on that like June level. The thing with Dark is, it does Earth. Like, Earth is supposed to be high damage bruisers that are really hard to kill. Dark has higher damage bruisers that are harder to kill. Deal with that, right? Look at somebody like Ruinstern, who got one of the best master ability 2s I've ever seen a unit get. He went from like, hey, he was good back 2 years ago, to like, wow, he has this like shield, he does a bajillion damage. I love him again. Dark has just gotten so much lately. The Joker, Little Leela, Velis team was dominant and is still really good. You can run Lemure in there if you want to keep it mono Dark. You just can't go wrong with Dark as like a top tier PvP element in this game right now. For Light, one thing I really like about Light is I think it's the element Gumi wants you to build as a new player, right? You have the best like freemium unit in the game in Lucio. That man is great for not having to ever cost you a single piece of Visior. Light is also getting new Stern when Chapter 3 in the story starts, so look forward to that. He looks really good on paper. Obviously, I haven't played him yet, but you can go check him out on WoTV Calc JP right now. So I think those two elements are Gumi's favorite children. They continue to get love. They continue, I think, to be premium elements to invest in, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. However, I do want to say, I don't think the other elements were neglected, especially those top 3. I think are in a really good spot. I think Water and Fire need some love, but are still playable, and I think Rainbow's creeping up there. I bet you by the end of Chapter 3, Rainbow is as good as anything. That would be my bet. Once we get enough of these new vision cards that overlap, and so like you can run, because if you notice, like if you look at those vision card buffs, they are, the group buffs on those rainbow job-based vision cards are better than the elemental buffs from the element only vision cards. It's just harder to use them. So I think there's a day where Rainbow gets some rainbows coming up. That's my thought. Okay, guys, that's what I think. If you liked this tier list, didn't like this tier list, or just want to say something about it in the comments section, please do so. It helps the YouTube algorithm out. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will catch you next time. Peace.